Hello, Scorpio. Welcome or welcome back to Mind, Body and Heart Tarot Therapy. A bit late, I know. This is your reading for April 2020. So it's a general reading for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. If it resonates, it resonates. And if it doesn't, it just doesn't. Okay, let's see what's going on with you, Scorpio, in these remarkable times we're living. How do you like your lockdown? I do hope you're well. It's difficult for many of us on so many different levels, and anything that we're going through right now, it doesn't matter that it sounds more or less dramatic. It's something that it's our own experience, and we need to validate it for ourselves. I mean, however you feel right now, if it's anxious, if it's fear, if it's I don't know, secretly enjoying being in lockdown, if it is loss and mourning, there are yours to feel and not to judge, and for not anyone else to judge. Yes, some people have it better than others. Yes, sometimes we can get stuck in our little dramas and not see our privilege, but we can't be shamed by other people's pain. We need to come back into being compassionate both to our own pain but also to other people's pain. So shaming in general is not going to work. Just a disclaimer here. No matter what other people, I don't know why I felt called to do this. You're the only sign that came through, but I felt the need to say it. It is important to meet ourselves exactly where we at. Okay, let's see what's your current energy, Scorpio. Okay, so you have the Four of Swords as your current energy. Absolutely fascinating, because I think almost every reading, if not every reading, had the Four of Swords as a challenge. So good job. Four of Swords means peace of mind, being relaxed and not overthinking. It's kind of meditative, reflective state. Now let's see what's your challenge, my dear. King of Pentacles is your challenge. All right. Huh. All right. The Chariot as your focus. Ace of Cups as your advice. Beautiful. Okay. And Strength and Nine of Swords as future energy. And bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups as the theme of your reading. The underlying energy. Okay. I'm gonna pull out the clarifiers to get the bigger picture. Oh gosh. All right, let's take them all now. Six of Swords, Eight of Swords, and Six of Wands as your current energy, along with the Four of Swords. Okay, maybe I take that back. Interesting combination. I'm looking forward to go through that with you. Let's see what's with you, King of Pentacles here as your challenge. The Hermit. Okay. So the Chariot here is your focus. Temperance. A lot of major arcana. Ace of Cups as your advice with the Queen of Pentacles. And why? Okay. There you go. Seven of Swords with the Strength and the Nine of Swords as future energy. And bottom of the deck again, we have the Knight of Pentacles as your underlying energy, the theme of this reading of this month of April for you. So the Knight of Pentacles with the Three of Cups. I'm having my coffee with you, so woohoo. And take a sip of that. So Knight of Pentacles with the Three of Cups. I think this reading is a lot about about being independent, about being able to relate to people from a place of full independence. Is that a word? Independence. Yeah, that's how it says. You see, you have this Three of Cups here. There's these ladies partying together, celebrating. It's two things coming together to create something bigger. It's three, it's resolution, but it's emotional resolution here. And maybe it's that type of flow you have with certain friends where you really feel you can connect and you have like emotional support and that sort of thing. But then this Knight of Pentacles, I feel like there's a stop to that. And not necessarily a stop as in like it's not going to happen or you don't want it anymore, you don't need it anymore. It's more of a, to take the high ground and check the horizon and see what is there for you. Maybe it's time that you learn how to provide some of this for yourself. Not there's something wrong with to receive emotional support from other people. That's wonderful, that's fantastic, and it's great that you have it. It's more that we can't only depend on that. We need to co-regulate with other people, and if possible, great. But it's also important that we learn to self-regulate our emotional cycles and our triggers and how our emotional reactions. Therefore, this Knight of Pentacles here, I feel like he's taking a break in a sense. Like, yeah, he's working consistently, he's moving forward, he's expanding his growth cycle, to this King of Pentacles. But it feels like there's a big step here that needs to be made, and it feels challenging. I don't think that these friends or this circle, this soul family or even actual family, were necessarily providing for you financially, not in that sense. I think they were just like really there for you, or you used to depend on them with this, I don't know, confiding in them or finding your, yeah, that type of emotional connection where you really feel that you feel validated and you feel seen and you feel relevant by being in connection with these people. Yeah, that's what I'm getting right now. It's quite interesting. And I think that, okay, it's hard to get these readings out of the context of the what's happened globally, so I will just say it as it comes, right? I think that you within this group, like, okay, sorry, just go back at that what I just said, putting this in the context. Maybe it has to do with exactly this. Maybe you find yourself in isolation, alone, and maybe you used to rely on certain people for all that emotional regulation that I was talking about, and now they're not there, or they're there but it's not the same, FaceTime, Zoom, this kind of stuff. You find yourself like spending a lot of physical alone time. Maybe you don't have your usual fun, however you were having fun before, and however you were spending time with these people. Maybe you actually feel in a way that they're going through their own stuff and they can't be there for you. Anyhow, you seem to appear quite calm, at least on the surface, and maybe you do use this time for reflection. And what you're reflecting on here is that what is it that you're leaving behind or you have to leave behind. You're reflecting on wherever you feel overwhelmed and wherever you feel like you're stuck, and you're also reflecting on what are your um victories. What is it that you've accomplished so far, and what can you celebrate yourself for, and what other people are acclaiming your accomplishments and are praising you for it maybe, and so on. But it's like a victory that is being recognized, let's put it this way. So I guess that you're reflecting on these things because it kind of makes sense, especially in this context of like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm depending a lot on other people, or maybe when I'm not with them, I feel like this, I feel like I can get stuck. So the point would be, how do I get unstuck? What do I need to leave behind? And how do I cross this river of uncertainty, going into the unknown? Maybe this is exactly what you can celebrate, that you've done this before. I have the thing, you've done this before. You've unlocked yourself before. You've felt into the landscape and you understood where to go and what to leave behind. So I have the feeling that by taking this break, by reflecting deep into what is it that holds you back and how do you feel limited, in what way, and in unleashing the mind to get unstuck, really. It's funny because normally this Eight of Swords comes with the guidance that you need to let go of the mind, because the mind's not helping you, blindfolded here, and you just go into the body and you feel your way out of this trap or whatever this is. And I mean, it's actually the trap of the mind, right? But that's the thing. When we get into overthinking, we start having bigger and bigger blind spots. We're blindfolded and we can't see further. So um getting your attention into the body and feeling into the body and starting to like really feel your way out of this thing, and would engage, we allow the mind to get out of this trance of powerlessness that you may feel trapped into. So that's generally the guidance. But I feel that with the Six of Swords here, I think that the mind is actually, it's probably once you get out of the trap, once you like get over like this main whirlpool of thoughts that is just confusing you. It's like when you have your computer and you have too many stuff open and everything just freezes. That's kind of how this feels. And once you like get into the body and do that type of like grounded mindfulness of the body, really really grounding a little bit, do whatever practice that grounds you, like walking barefoot, touching rough materials and feeling like getting into your senses. Basically that's what this means, getting into your senses. Breath work, deep breaths, this kind of stuff. Once you get like that, will take you out of this whirlpool. But then under the underlayer of that, I think your mind is willing to work with you on this one. It's not just like, okay, you need to be into this constant grounding and completely let go of everything. I think that you have already the mind structure, and you can recognize it, you can see it for yourself, that has already in place new habits being built, helpful habits that can help you get out of here. So it's a very simple sequence. Yeah, you have, you're like going into meditative state, you see what is it, and you see and you recognize where and how you're feeling stuck. You do whatever grounding work, mindfulness of the body, getting your awareness into the body, and then your mind is like, okay, I know this, I've got this happened before, and I got out of there before. And you're retracing the steps, and you're taking the leap. And in this context, I think, yeah, as I said, you may feel like this maybe without the normal support that you're getting. And it is challenging with the King of Pentacles and the Hermit. It is challenging for you to be alone, and it is challenging for you to feel like this King of Pentacles that you probably most likely are, which is somebody who's very generous and very able to provide for himself. He's a family man, but he's like, he's a self-made man. He's somebody who built it up all on his own. And Scorpio as an archetype generally tends to be quite dependent on other people as well. So that's also kind of a cue going back to this. So yeah, it's challenging to feel like you have your own strong, deep foundation, and you feel like all your needs are being taken care of, and you've provided for. And with the Hermit, it may be challenging to go and investigate this. It may be challenging to spend that time alone. Yes, you are in this moment of reflection, and yes, you see what's going on. You see these missing links that you probably didn't see before because you took it for granted. Maybe that you had all those people there, and the roles that they were playing for you in your life, and how stuck you can feel without them, or without the typical type of interaction that you used to have. Whether it could also be at work, sometimes just having the right type of pack, the right type of environment, work colleagues, whatever, it gives you that sense of stability. It's challenging to spend your time alone right now. And even if it's not you're not physically alone in where you're self-isolating, though I think that most of the Scorpios reaching to exactly this reading might be quarantine or self-isolating alone. But even if you're not physically alone, you may feel alone. You may feel like you can't really rely or fill yourself up as you used to from those relationships. So it's your alone time. It's your alone time, and it is actually important to focus on the fact that you have everything that you need to move forward. You have all the physical resources. The King of Pentacles is very, very prosperous. It's very challenging for you to see this aspect of yourself now and to embody all these characteristics of the King of Pentacles and the Hermit, but it doesn't mean that you don't have them. You do. You really do. And I think it's focusing on balancing out two different aspects of yourself, balancing out opposites within yourself would really help you. Maybe you see yourself as a very independent person, and yet you didn't notice before of this dependency. You could be alone as long as you had all those mirrors around you to reflect back at you how what kind of person you are. But when those mirrors are gone, who am I? That kind of stuff. This is just an example. It can be all kinds of like extreme opposites within you, the black and the white, the good and the bad. Usually there's always like two sides of the same coin, where we feel powerless and where we are maybe striving to secure power and become power hungry. We tend to be like so getting high on power when we feel powerless. That's when we really feel. So where we need to work is not to try to control other people or to get that power from our relationships, but to learn to do this by learning to self-regulate. With this temperance here, it's like you see he has a foot on the ground, a foot in the water. It's like really testing himself out, and he's experimenting with this process that you've learned already. You're experimenting with how to be alone and how to find your own recognition without denying the one from others. I mean, like it's great when we have it, but it shouldn't be the goal, only like, okay, I'm doing this because I have something to prove. And if it is, take it as it is, accept it, look at it. Only through acceptance there is actual change going to happen. And that's why I feel with the chariot and the two sphinxes here, accepting the two sides of the coin, accepting the things that you've been compartmentalizing in your mind, and you feel like they're completely different stuff, but as I said, they're actually two sides of the same coin. Zoom out a little bit, zoom out a little bit. This is Sagittarius energy, and Sagittarius is very much about the big picture, and always maybe sometimes looking too big, philosophizing, all that. It's all about the life philosophy and the deep, like connecting with your spiritual side and with your belief system and things like this. And taking that step back will help you see the two sides of the same coin. If something is very, very close to you, you can only see one side. You don't have a perspective, you wouldn't see that this and this are the same thing, If I see it only from here, and I've only seen it my whole life from here, then I could never guess what's on the other side, right? So I think, yeah, this is like really going to help you. Also, I see that there's like in both these cards, these characters, the angel and our hero going in his hero journey, both have the heart space emphasized, and it comes fantastically in line with the Ace of Cups that's coming as your advice, which is like a heart opening, right? So if you do any type of chakra work, energy work, I don't know if many people do that. Those of you that do, maybe it's good to do some meditations focusing on your heart space, or on your heart chakra. Or if you're more into traditional meditation, for example, you can do loving kindness meditation practice and compassion meditation practice, which is like Tonglen and this kind of stuff, forgiveness. Or if you don't do any of that, well, see how you resonate with just ideas of like love and self-love. See how you can provide to yourself that space of true deep connection. Can you like be your own cheerleader and be as honest as you can with that, by taking in both the good and the bad and the ugly, and really testing, like experiment with techniques of how you can work with this. I feel like based on the Six of Swords here and this card so far, I think you know what I'm talking about, and I think you've been there before. You see this square here at the heart is white, and that symbolizes that you're safe, and also symbolizes purity, like having a pure heart. I see the star here, that means hope, and there's also the star here with the hermit, which is like he's using basically the star to guide him into the darkness. With the chariot, he's got the star on his head, that means that he's being guided, divinely guided, and having a pure heart that is safe. And here the triangle, which symbolizes fire, is encompassed in this square, which again symbolizes safety, boundaries, being like your heart is safe and you have that access to it. You can have access to it once you trust yourself to be able to do so, slowing down. And I think you're taking these steps. Yes, it may be challenging, but you are taking these steps with the Four of Swords here and with these two sixes. But yeah, it is truly important right now to work with this, work with your heart space, however you know, and try to be curious about it. See if you can master some of that curiosity that lies when we're really like observing things, and we're like, okay, if I put it from here and to put it there, how's that gonna work? Like the temperance has to do with the higher mind affecting your emotions, being able to self-regulate your own emotional state. That's exactly what we were studied actually. Now I just realized, because now there's a very beautiful guide for tarot, which is called karmic tarot, and I never know the names of people in general, so I'm really terribly sorry. I can't remember the name of the author, but it's a really beautiful description and much deeper than your typical school of tarot thinking. And what it says, again, I feel like some of you might be able to do energy work here. So for those of you that are into that, you may understand what I'm saying now. The temperance is moving energy horizontally, and eventually it will move energy from down to up. So emotional side is gonna go horizontally, and then from down to up. It means like you're able to summon that energy, that grounded energy, and connect it into the world, put it out into the world. And I think your heart space is very much involved in that. Okay, for some of you this may just sound gibberish. That's perfectly fine. Just remember this, that if you invoke your curiosity, knowing, like really knowing that you've got all it takes to do this, and just to start experimenting step by step with how you want to gain that emotional stability, techniques and practices that might work for you. And as your advice, you may be this sounds very universal, yes. Working with your heart and from connecting with that place of self-love, and then going into the universal consciousness and connecting with that unconditional love and so on, and going into the body and being self-nurturing and taking care of yourself. That sounds like, okay, yeah, that's universal for everyone. We could all do that. We could all benefit from that. Yes, we do. But particularly because of all the situation here, I think it may meditating a lot on what unconditional love means to you and how you can access it within yourself. You see, the Ace of Cups shows like there's it's like a gift. It's from the universe. It's coming from ether, from nowhere, you know. And there's this cup which is overpouring. There's this dove that brings in, I forgot the name of this cross, which symbolizes peace. And the cup is overflowing because it's full. It's when you realize that all you need is within yourself, and that's the gift of being human as well. Along with all the madness of the mind and all the difficulties of the physical incarnation and so on, this is something that we all have at the core. And you see, this is like whatever's pouring out here, it goes into this sea, where that's where the universal consciousness is. That's how where we connect to the collective. You know, that's the thing, like sometimes we are terrified to go solo, whether that means to not have a relationship or whether that means to do some projects alone or spend more time alone. We're terrified to do so because we're afraid of feeling lonely, you know. But actually we're never really alone. We are not an island. Nobody's an island. We are interconnected. We are interconnected at so many levels. I don't know, I can break it down in so many different ways, and it's hard sometimes to talk to um a what's it called, like a group of people that I don't know exactly where you find yourself in and what's the vocabulary that you use, but I'm doing my best. We are interconnected. we depend on each other to the society. The society is composed of the people that keep it together. It's a man-made construct, right? But it's part of our nature. We need societies to work together. And okay, I don't need to break it down too much why we're interconnected. I think it makes sense to you eventually if you really go into it. The thing is that what binds us together is compassion and love and nurturing. It's the survival of the nurtured, not the survival of the fittest. When we are nurtured, when we are taken care of, we can naturally grow into our healthiest version of ourselves, and that's when we have the highest chance of being, present with pretty much everything that is, and not dissociate or go cuckoo. And that's when we are also able to help others, because when we are not triggered, when we're not terrified, when we're not like helpless or hopeless or things like this, or don't feel in this way, then we are able to help. We are able to uh, bring that valuable contribution into society in the form of compassion and love. And the Queen of Pentacles, yes, she's like the archetypal mother. She's super nurturing. She's taking her time with everything. She's very caring of her physical environment, cleaning, cooking, nurturing food that is really healthy for you. I'm not going to now tell you buy organic food from a whole, I don't know, I don't know their names. I don't know which markets or what, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Use your instincts and your understanding of what real, good, healthy food is. What is nurturing for you right now, and give yourself that. And it may feel crazy to focus on, okay, I'm focusing on my heart now, and I'm focusing on how to feed myself the best food. When everybody's going crazy and we're going in a pandemic and so on, but this is what you need. That's where the intro kicks in, where you need to figure out what is it that you need right now, and that's what you need, focusing on the physical chores and taking them with with mindfulness. One, as you wash the dishes, take one dish at a time, feel the smell of the detergent, um, feel your activities not as like, oh, I'm so pissed off, I need to do the dishes now, I want to watch a movie. Take your time and feel into it, feel into everything. And I think that this will really help you, like coming into the body, like disconnecting to the earth. If you can go out, I don't know, many countries don't allow going out, depends where you are. If you can go out, or if you have some plants on your balcony, like really work with the earth plants, or if you can go out, maybe you can walk barefoot a little bit into the grass somewhere, or sit under a tree or something, where you can really feel the earth and feel the sun on your skin, these kind of things. It's very important for you. And yeah, allow yourself to access your heart. And you can do this, like these two work well together with self-nurturing. And once you access that heart energy, it's like, it's overflowing. It's there. It really is there. Trust me on this. Trust yourself on this, because you know within yourself. In Buddhism they say that at the basics, no, our most basic instinct as humans is compassion. It's not that survival thing that we always thought it is, and it's not the killing instinct or the blah 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 blah. Yes, of course we have all those, but the core of our being, compassion, is what it's our strongest instinct. And that's because we are social creatures. That's because that's what survival for us as humans. That's what keeps societies together, compassion, not fights. Yeah, okay, there are fights between tribes and things like that, and between entities of sorts, so like, okay, this country to the other country or things like that, but because you're all going to have your own, and they're all going to protect your own and so on. So there's going to be compassion for what is similar to me or on my own side. Of course, that's just like instincts, but you can do this more consciously, and we can realize that we are all connected. As I said, it's not us and them anymore, and we really need this type of connecting into the heart space. And yeah, all this process, it's giving you the strength to address the part of you that's just trying to get away with things, that's just what's trying to get what it wants in however way, more or less honorable way, maybe resorting to manipulation or resorting to hiding stuff and not really be honest about things. And these are the things that that part of you don't want to see. It's like shoved somewhere in the back of your mind, and it's laying heavy in your subconscious, and maybe it creates guilt, and it can create all kind of like thoughts that they're somewhere there, but they're just too scary to look at. But you will have the strength to do so. You will have the strength to tame the beast. What you, like this part of you that's just trying to lie its way out of anything, or to outsmart everyone, be clever, figure it out in this way. Yeah, obviously it's just trying to protect you. And our mind always does that, like seriously, always. Like the moment you start like, okay, I'm gonna do my meditation, your mind is gonna try somehow to figure out a way around it, or to that's just because, as we go to the core and we allow like the stories slowly to not affect us, to not be in the middle of our story, but to observe the stories and not be like the victims of the stories. See, this person is a victim of his own mind, her own mind here. That's like because she's trapped into the story. But the moment we are like letting go of the stories, and this part becomes sort of like irrelevant, and we can just look at it as a character and not like me, my goodness, and associate shame and guilt to it, that's when we start taming the beast. That's when we start like connecting to what really matters, what's deep down inside that we are so terrified of. Because the mind is only interpreting what's already within you, somewhere within you, into your consciousness, into your being. So the mind creates sometimes monsters and ways to get away from those monsters and responsibilities and fears and so on. But once you conquer your fears, you're getting strong, baby. And look at this, bam, consciousness, awareness, and so on, of this infinity sign on top of her head there. And she does this with kindness. She can only tame this lion, which again symbolizes your wildest instincts that are stuck somewhere in your subconscious because you're afraid of them. And whew, like no blame there, no. I mean, no judgment there, Scorpio. You've got a lot of dark shit down there. Or we all do, but you have a way, Scorpio. You have your ways. Well, my point is that she does this only through compassion. That's why the opening of the heart is so important right now, because this is what can get you moving forward from this whatever type of dependency you may have been feeling, whatever surfacing there for you. Okay, I'm gonna pull a card from the Oracle, Rumi Oracle card. It's wisdom of the heart. I know most of you know about Rumi. He's a Sufi poet. Well, he was. And he's got like the most amazing, beautiful, and deep poems that I've ever read. Okay. So you have Arise, number 13. Number 13 is also in tarot, it's death, which is Scorpio energy transformation. So let's see, number 13. Now I have the song from Sepultura, Arrives, coming to me, for those of you that actually know about that. Okay, that was a small parenthesis, unnecessary, but well. The poem from Rumi associated with this card, I hope you can see, like, this light is crazy. It's because the wind blows into some stuff, and yeah, well, it fucks with the light on the balcony. So, the poem. Wings of hope languish from lack of use. When wings dissipate and weaken, life begins to lose its value. Every cell in your body is created to rise to challenges. Your life is meant to confront everything that holds you captive. Look at that. This, you feel captive in there. I love how these keywords, they really fall into place. Okay. Or maybe just for me, I hope. I hope you see them too. So your life is meant to confront everything that holds you captive. Don't sit at the bottom of the well not caring about salvation. Listen to the voice within calling you. Reach for eminence beyond your own maturity. Rumi. All right. Let's see. So the explanation. I see in you a divine wild child and sacred heart. You have gumption, whatever that means. Sorry. You dare to love where others only see pain. You dare to believe that everything will somehow work out where others see only what they judge to be wrong. You see love where others apply fear. You seek freedom where the world still buys into manipulation and propaganda. Don't lose heart, beloved wild child. Dare to believe. You are right to do so. It is a divine rebel within you that refuses to surrender hope. Give up the fight, perhaps, the battle that comes from a place of fear, but never give up hope. That hope in your heart, that optimism and patience for growth into love creates a light within you that helps the world see through darkness. It becomes a candle that shimmers. Sorry, I'm just showing you the hermit here. So it becomes a candle that shimmers contentedly upon the window's wheel of your heart temple. There it is, more obvious even in darkness. Okay, you are being asked to trust, to gently lay to rest the suffering that has been, perhaps because of what you have labeled as the failure, the doubt, the losses, and setbacks. There are so little in the greater scheme of you, but put them aside. Allow them to rot and become fertilizers for life. But do not try to keep them alive beyond their earthly expiry date, lest you become tainted or poisoned by the rot. Let them go and instead focus on what is alive now. Can you sense that before you is a great being of light, a greater pathway opening up? This is truth. This is truth. Take the step. So easy it is when the light of the heart is felt within you, reminding you of your own divine nature. The world is here for you to experience so that you may realize divinity in its majesty, mystery, and love more so than ever. All serves that sacred purpose, so embrace it. Find your faith, be at peace, know that no matter what appears to be, all is well. You are so loved. It cannot even begin to be translated sufficiently into words, but it can be transmitted from my heart to yours, just as the sun catches dried tinder and sets in it aflame. This oracle comes with a message for you. Arise. You have been downtrodden. downtrodden for long enough now. Perhaps you have been feeling defeated, put upon, underestimated, or walked over in mind, body, or spirit by others or your own doubts and fears. Enough now. You are liberated through the hope in your heart, the defiant optimism that buoys your spirit and demands that you shall have your dawn. You shall rise like the sun and begin anew now. Step it up, it is your time. You see, these fears and these survival strategies that are outdated are being like released and let go of by opening of the heart. So trust in your heart right now. Trust in that love, that deep love, that you are loved and that there is so much love within you. If you would only slow down and feel it, my love. So you shall arise. All right, Scorpio, that's a beautiful reading. I hope it makes sense to you. If you resonate with this, please like, share, and subscribe so more people can reach this type of readings and, maybe find the messages that they need in this moment. So I wish you all the best, Scorpio, and may our practice benefit all beings. I'll see you here soon.